Good morning, everyone. It is 8:21 in the morning on Tuesday. I meant to start this yesterday, but I did not get the opportunity to. Some stuff happened over the weekend that more specifically Sunday, that I had to take care of. So first of all, Sunday, my husband got home after I had finished up last week's vlog, and he was really, really badly sunburned, like ridiculously. And so for the last couple of days, I've had to kind of try to take care of him because it's been very hard for him to actually be able to move because his entire torso is just burned, like on the brink of like a second-degree burn. He actually has like little blisters on his shoulders. So I've been having to take care of him, make sure that he's okay, basically just make him a little more comfortable so that he can try to recuperate. Sunday, I did finally finish The Fires of Heaven, and then today I have like 20 pages left of the Book of Magic, so I'm going to get this done today when I get the opportunity to. I'm going to say right now what my rating of it is because, like I said, I only have 20 pages left, and we've pretty much got through like the biggest part of it, and now it's like the last couple chapters, which are basically just wrapping up everything that's happened so far. This actually has been a lot better than Practical Magic was, I will say. Like, I really like the direction that they did decide to go with in terms of what exactly was meant to break the curse. Because if you heard me talk about how Practical Magic the book is versus the movie, the book is very, very different. There are some lines that are used in the movie word for word, do not get me wrong. Most of what the plot of the movie does follow the book, but the book has so much more involved in it that I think was not necessary, and I feel that the movie honestly portrayed the story of the family a lot better, specifically that of Sally and Jillian. The books before Practical Magic, which were Magic Lessons and Rules of Magic, really focused on individually the women that were involved. So Magic Lessons focused on Maria Owens, the woman who really placed the curse on the family and what exactly led up to that. And it also then partially focused on her daughter, Faith, and Faith's struggles with growing up and eventually going down the left-hand path, which is basically the more cursed, hexing, baneful magic path that is much more destructive. And keeping in mind, too, that a lot of the things that are involved in this are based on Wiccan practices, which is not typically what many people do in terms of witchcraft. Wicca is a very much hodgepodge of random things from different cultures of magic that claims it is the path of magic, but it's really not. So this is very much based in Wiccan practices and Wiccan things. So keeping in mind that it's nothing very explicit in terms of certain rituals that are done in Wicca, but there's a lot of things I think in terms of the thoughts about things in terms of magic. Like, they talk about the threefold law a few times, which is a very much Wiccan-based idea. And also there's a lot of very traditional-based things within this, which typically can be associated with Wicca, but they don't necessarily have to be the same thing, which involve things like kind of more expansive rituals, but all it does is it dictates kind of one certain path of witchcraft you can take. When it comes to, though, the rules of magic, it follows the aunts that we know about in Practical Magic, Franny and Jet, and you learn that they actually have a younger brother named Vincent, and it is about their journey figuring out their own magic and the trials and tribulations that they go through in their timeline. And then Practical Magic is supposed to mostly be about Sally and Jillian, but you see a lot with the aunts, and specifically how the girls interact with the aunts. And in my personal opinion, I think that the movie does a lot better at portraying the relationship between Sally and Jillian, because for most of the book, they are separated like you see in the movie. But there's also in the book a lot to do with Sally's girls, Kylie and Antonia. They are a much bigger focus in the book than they are in the movie. And I just do not think that they were necessary, considering the fact that here in the Book of Magic, Kylie is kind of the bigger thing going on here, but she's also not. It's almost as if the way that the story was created was that Practical Magic was supposed to focus more on the daughters, and then The Book of Magic focuses more on Sally and Jillian, or at least Sally in particular, and her issues. And I don't know, I'm just not a big fan of that. I feel that the movie really did the story a lot better. I think that whoever did the screenwriting for Practical Magic in the movie did a really, really good job at picking out the most important aspects and actually expanding on the more important things than what the book did. Honestly, I think that they did Alice Hoffman a favor, and that's probably something that's going to get me a lot of flack, but I'm not going to change my opinion because I think it is actually very, very sound. Because honestly, the Book of Practical Magic is not as great. Now, in terms of the Book of Magic, though, in terms of what I think about it, I do think it is a lot better. I do think, though, that it focuses way too much on Sally and Jillian at this point. I think it would be better if this one was the book that would focus on Kylie and Antonia. But Antonia's really only got like a small portion of the book, and it mostly is because she's pregnant in this book, and she's kind of like coming to terms with the fact that like her family does have magic, and Kylie is basically the one that is out adventuring, trying to break the curse of the family, and she's trying to do it all on her own, and it does lead down some pretty destructive paths, and I like that. I really like that that is what's being explored here, but I do think that this book should definitely have focused more on the daughters and less on Sally specifically, because Sally has way too much of a presence in this book. On top of it, this does kind of extend the storyline of what happens in Practical Magic, because you learn things about what happened that in the movie you would think everything is like great, because in the movie they talk about how they break the curse there. In the book, they don't break the curse at the end of Practical Magic. The curse breaking is here in the Book of Magic. So there's like some differences in terms of, for one, how the curse is broken. There's differences in what exactly leads up to the breaking of the curse, all these things. So I don't know, like I feel very kind of iffy about these books. I think that the ideas were great, but I just feel that the movie did it a lot better because it had a very different message, I think, than what the books did, that is much more appealing, much more understandable, whereas I feel that the message here gets lost in these books. So at this point, I definitely think it's kind of a 3-star, but I will say that the 2 prequel books are actually a lot better. I do think that they are very, very good books by themselves. It's just, unfortunately, that Practical Magic and the sequel are not nearly as good. I think it's definitely very fun for those of you that are interested in reading them to check them out. It gives you kind of a rudimentary look at some of the ideas involving Wicca practices more particularly, but it is not something I think to take lightly, because also it is not the only way that magic is practiced. There are plenty of cultures that practice magic in very different ways, and each witch has a very different way of doing things. So some people are more traditional, some people are, like myself, much more eclectic, where we don't really do the traditional things and we kind of pick in things that we think best work for us. Like I work a lot with astrology, I work a lot with herbs and spell work within that, and I work a lot with basically my deities and working with them and understanding myself and working on my mental health through practicing with them and doing shadow work and things like that. And not every witch does that. Some witches are much more baneful, where they will do more things like curses and hexes, and a lot of times more so in defense of other people or in defense of themselves if they believe they are being targeted. There's plenty of witches who are much more love and light ideas, which is totally fine. That is a practice. There are witches who are more kitchen witches, where they do all of their spell work with cooking. There's multitudes of paths that are involved with this, and I think this is actually really perfect timing with Witch-a-thon having been going on this month to bring this up, is that no matter what path you go down, as long as like you're kind of doing things that best represent you and doing things that you feel the most comfortable doing, that's all that matters in your own practice. You don't have to do what every other person on Witch Talk or in any community does. And if people want to give you an issue about it, then that's on them. Like, you do your practice based on what you want to do. If you don't feel that you want to work with deities, you don't have to work with deities. That is a complete choice on your part. If you want to work more with objects from the sea, like shells and seaweed and things like that, and working with seawater or anything like that, that's on you, like, because that's what you want to do. Anyway, so that's basically what I've been reading at this point. So like I said, I should be able to get through the rest of this today, probably during my lunch. I feel like I want to do that today. And then the next thing I want to get through during this week is Sword of Destiny by Andrzej Sapkowski. This is technically the second prequel to the Witcher series. This is, I think, another set of stories, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think this is, like, in particular by itself, like, a full-fledged, like, one story kind of novel, but it is bigger, I think, in some ways than the first prequel I did read. So this one is 374 pages. So I think, though, that based on how the first prequel went, it's gonna be pretty okay. I really enjoyed it a lot, and I feel like I got through it pretty quickly, so we'll see kind of how that goes. And then if I can get through this week, I'd also like to be able to get started with The Hero of Ages, which is the next book I need to read for the Brandon Sanderson read-along, and we'll kind of go from there. But these are kind of like the main priority this week. But again, like, I'll be able to finish this today. This one, I just need to see how quick I can get through it this week. I need to finish editing last week's vlog and get it out tonight. I got through a lot of it last night, though, so I don't have too much left of it to finish, but I want to finish that up and then get that put out. And then I do at some point, either today or tomorrow, probably going to be tomorrow, like during my lunch or something, need to film my recommendations video for Battle of the Bookish. I'll check back in with you guys a little bit later when I finally finish the Book of Magic and get started with the Witcher book.
And right here we've got a little Oscar in his natural habitat with his belly up to say he wants snuggles or belly scritches. We're going to give him the belly scritches. Freshly woken up from a nap. He's vibing, he's cozy. We love to see it. Yes, that was my very poor impression of wilderness explorer. I definitely came off more maybe Cockney or British than Australian, but you know. And of course he's decided to follow me because Mom is making noise and getting up and around. All right, hi guys. So it is going on 3 o'clock right now. I'm up and moving around so that I can get myself a cup of water. Yeah? Is that so? Do you want an ice cube? He loves having ice cubes when I go to make myself some ice water, so I'm gonna give him an ice cube. So I don't know how many of you guys have, like, seen this stuff. I feel like it's honestly everywhere anymore, but I have been using the Liquid IV hydration multipliers. I kid you not, this stuff is, like, freaking amazing because I have such a hard time drinking water on a regular basis, and so I don't really stay that hydrated really ever. So I love this stuff though, because like if you're a fan of like the taste of Pedialyte, this reminds me a lot in terms of the taste of it, but it's the same as like if you use like Gatorade, if you drink Pedialyte, if you use like the Neo like water flavoring things or like Crystal Light, like it's pretty much the same, and it's just so much nicer than just drinking plain ice water, which I think is usually my issue. Is I have a problem with like very not good, like no taste kinds of things. So I love that this stuff is like super yummy. This one I have just put in is acai berry. I've not tried this flavor yet, but let's take a little taste test. Oh, that's yummy. It's just like really sweet. Not like sweet, like really like puckery, but very yummy. And while I've got you here, I'm gonna unload my dishwasher because I need to. Woo, look at all that steam. Look at that steam, holy hell. I think this just got finished up because it's still super toasty. Woo, and my glasses are fogging up. We're gonna take those bad boys off. So, anyway, today's been pretty good. I have, managed to finish the Book of Magic. I read the last 20-some pages of it earlier today, and I did end up giving it a 3 out of 5 stars. I don't know, I think I'm just very salty still with the fact that, honestly, the books were not as good as I would have expected them to be, and, you know, for a lot of people, they say that the books were really what got them into it, and that's why they were so excited when the movie had come out and why it was such a favorite. In all honesty, I think you could just watch the movie and never read the books and you would be completely fine, because honestly, the movie is just like 50 million times better. And again, that could be because I am biased, because I love that movie. It has been a staple in terms of comfort movies for me ever since I was a child. It is one of my mom's favorite movies as well, and so it was pretty much on repeat in my childhood because it was a movie that we all really seem to enjoy. So yes, there is a lot of personal bias with it, I understand, but it doesn't change the fact that the experience I had reading these books was very, very subpar. However, like I said, the books were 3 stars and up, which isn't bad, but I think that in terms of like the overall experience of reading them, it was not as enjoyable as I had wanted it to be, and I was actually very disappointed. So with that being said though, I am going to be starting Sword of Destiny later today. Haven't started it as of yet because I haven't really had an opportunity, but I should be able to start it tonight. It was really funny though, because last night Robert actually wanted to sit and read for a little while last night with me. Like, that doesn't normally happen. It's not that he doesn't read at all, but my husband is not someone who reads very often, like unless it's something that he's super interested in. But he's kind of wanting to try some new things again, and he knows that he does like reading. It's just he never really feels like he has the opportunity to, because he's got other things on his mind or that he's working on, whatever. So he did though last night sit and read with me for a little while, and it was actually really nice, and that's kind of where I got through most of the Book of Magic last night, and then I finished it up this morning. But tonight I think we're gonna watch another couple episodes of WandaVision with dinner, and then I have my vlog finished up editing. I was able to finish it up during my lunch. I think I'm gonna film my recommendation videos and try to get those at least prepped, like get the footage moved over, stuff like that, so that tomorrow during my lunch I can start editing that recommendation video so that I can get it out sometime, probably tomorrow, because I think that it's supposed to come out either tomorrow or Thursday. I can't quite 100% remember off the top of my head at this moment. I have to look again at my schedule, but that is basically it. So the dishwasher is filled. Now I just gotta put the little tablet thing in. And then we're gonna go back and continue on with the day and just kind of get through the last of it. I do gotta put a couple of things away still, but you know, we're pretty much done other than that. So heading back to work, and we'll kind of see how the evening goes. Holy crap, my throat is so parched. I just finished filming the recommendation video for Battle of the Bookish, and I talked through that whole thing without a drink, and I've had my can of Coke up here with me the entire time, so a girl is very parched. But like I said, I just got done filming that. It is 7:41 in the evening on Wednesday. I've done a little bit of reading here and there with the Witcher book I've been working on, but I'm not really at like more than 50 pages in. Basically a good chunk of the way though through the first story, which involves Geralt having to go find and possibly kill a dragon, which is going to be very fun. Robert actually wants to sit and read with me tonight. 2 nights this week he has wanted to sit and read with me, which is very strange. I don't know why, but he's been in a really good reading mood recently, so I am not gonna complain, and I'm gonna go downstairs and read with him. Because basically we don't have anything else going on tonight. We had a pretty normal dinner, but we didn't watch really anything like WandaVision or anything tonight. We weren't really in the mood to watch it, so after I finished eating, I came up here, filmed my video, and now it's time for me to go downstairs and get some reading done for the rest of the night. So that's kind of where I'm at. Very upset with the fact that now, like halfway through the month, that I'm not able to get through my AAPI reads, but I got through 2. I got through 2 with my Wheel of D20 books, which I think is more progress than I probably would have made if I didn't specifically pick AAPI books for that. But I'm still kind of upset that I'm not going to be able to get through a lot of these, unless somehow I can pull it out of my ass to like get through the rest of my books super quick, but I don't think that's going to happen, not with how things have been. And again, I'm trying to take it easy on myself and not be so mad about myself not getting through stuff, but some days it's kind of rough, you know, trying to have so many things that I want to read and series I want to continue and not being able to like meet those goals that I have every day. But at the same time, it's, you know, just something that I'm kind of learning how to deal with and learning how to deal with the kind of chaoticness that is my life anymore and
feeling like I can't always do everything and being okay with that. And I guess that's just part of my life now, since I've lived my life for so long, being very, very structured. And sometimes structure is really great, but sometimes it's nice to be able to say fuck it to some things and just not do the things that you had on your to-do list because you just don't have the energy to do them. And I will say that I feel like that being able to tell myself, like, to say fuck it to a lot of stuff has been a lot more cathartic and been a lot more releasing. It's just also kind of still in the back of my mind that, like, I should be doing things, I should be doing this, but then it just kind of takes away from the enjoyment of reading stuff. Like, you know, with the Fires of Heaven, I felt like I was slogging through it because I didn't have the time to read, but then it was just really slow, so I didn't want to read it, and I wasn't enjoying it because it was just really slow. So I don't know, I feel like I'm just kind of in a weird spot with all of that, but I'm trying to make the best of it, because honestly, if this is how my life is going to be, I better get fucking used to it, because I'm sick and tired of feeling like I have to meet all of these standards for myself and being disappointed that when I don't, because none of it is conducive to anything. It doesn't help anything. It doesn't, make me a bad person for not, keeping up with my reading schedule. I'm not a bad person for not completing my TBRs. Nobody really cares about that. Like, nobody's really holding me to that standard other than myself, and I need to not do that, because honestly it causes me more hurt than anything else. We are in a period of release. We are in a period of letting things go that don't serve us. The eclipse just happened, which was a perfect time to kind of have those things in mind. So now that we are out of that eclipse energy, it's time to kind of come back to center and get through the rest of this Mercury retrograde, because it's fucking everything up, which I'm not surprised by, because I feel like everything's been turned on its head the last week or so. So yay. But all right, I'm gonna head downstairs and go read with my husband, and I will talk to all of you guys again when I've made more progress in The Witcher. Hey guys, so it is about 1:45 in the afternoon on Thursday. I'm doing quite a bit of reading today on my breaks, and so I have finished the first story of Sword of Destiny here. I'm on page 83, basically in the second story of 4, 5, 6. There's 6 stories here. So I've gotten through 1 of 6, which is good. I did want to say real quick that I think I'm going to actually end this vlog tomorrow, because tomorrow at around 6 p.m. my time is the start of Book-a-thon, and I did want to have a separate vlog for that. So I'm not ending the vlog here as of yet, but tomorrow, probably before I end my day with work, I'm going to be doing that. And also I will be going to my parents' house Friday night, because I have to meet up with one of my friends who's picking me up from there to go out to the bachelorette party that I have to go to this weekend. So it's easier basically for me to be at my parents' house where she can pick me up, because she's going to be out there anyway, instead of having to double back out here to get me, and then we drive all the way out to the place for the bachelorette party. But I just really wanted to update that, just because I wasn't quite sure what was going to be going on this weekend in terms of that, and I had almost forgot that Book-a-thon was going on this weekend. I've also decided that for Book-a-thon specifically, because I don't really have as much time as I would like to be able to participate in it this round, that I'm gonna pick really short things, like either short stories or manga, graphic novels, stuff that basically I can get through super, super quick. And honestly, this actually worked out pretty well, because I had already decided for the first roll drop that was announced when the Book-a-thon was announced for this round, I was gonna have a short story dedicated to that, because it was part of the Brandon Sanderson read-along that I'm doing. And thankfully it's also the prequel story to the Mistborn series, so I don't have to read Hero of Ages before I read that, which is nice, because I would not be able to get Hero of Ages done in less than 2 days. There's no way. So basically tomorrow night I'm going to start off with that short story, and then I will wait until I get up Saturday morning to basically get my next book read. And I'm gonna try to pick something also that's on my Kindle, because I'm not going to take like a million different books with me, because I just don't have that ability. So anything that I pick, I'm going to try to do from my Kindle, and hopefully I'll find something that'll work. More than likely, some of the graphic novels I have on there will work, but I don't know. We'll see. So that's kind of what is going to be going on here this weekend. I'm going to be out basically, like I said, Friday night, and then Saturday I will be leaving my parents' house, I think sometime between 2 and 3, because it's going to be a while to drive out to where we need to be, and we have to check in around 4, and then we're doing presents for the bride around 5, and then we're going to dinner, and then we're going to do a pedal trolley, which is going to be interesting. It's basically like it's a big cart that you pedal around in the city, and you can have drinks on there as long as they're only in cans, like no glass, no bottles, stuff like that. So that's gonna be interesting. I've never been on one of those, so I don't know how it's going to go, but I'm sure it's gonna be a lot of fun. And then I will be coming back home sometime during the day on Sunday. We're doing brunch on Sunday as well, so I don't know exactly what time I will be back on Sunday, but it'll probably be sometime in like the afternoon. And then from there, I think it'll be just kind of relaxing, because then I still have to come back to work on Monday, so we'll see how it all goes. But in terms of what I thought of the first story of Sword of Destiny, I really did like it a lot. I think that it was really cool to start off this story with this, because in the story, Geralt basically meets up with a group of people who are going after this golden dragon, which is like, for one, super rare. Nobody thinks it's supposed to actually exist, but it does. And also we have Yennefer come into the story, who has a lot of animosity with Geralt, because apparently at one point they were lovers, but Geralt still has like very strong feelings for her. Like, he hasn't ever forgotten about her. If anything, like, she's kind of like always in his mind. So I'm curious to see if like this is like The Last Wish, where the stories are a little bit more segmented, where they're kind of more snapshots like they were in The Last Wish, or if this is going to be a little bit more linear, where like the stories are going to kind of follow an overarching plot. Because in The Last Wish, they did kind of follow an overarching plot. Like, a lot of the stories were kind of flashbacks in terms of like, you know, Geralt is in this one particular journey, but he recalls situations he was in when talking about them with some people. And there is this overwhelming kind of Yennefer presence in The Last Wish as well, even though we really don't see her very much. But I'm going to continue working on this. My goal is to get this finished up before Book-a-thon starts tomorrow. That way that I can kind of have a clean slate, and I can just really focus on the Book-a-thon books the best I can. And hopefully we can make that happen. I'm sure I could, because Robert had wanted to read last night, but we kind of got distracted by watching YouTube videos that were really interesting, so we just never ended up doing that. But I think I can convince him tonight to spend some time with me to sit and read. This book is 374 pages, and like I said, I'm on page 83, so I've got less than 300 pages of it, and it honestly moves very quickly. So I think if I can manage to read some more of it during the day on my breaks and stuff, and then focus on it this evening after dinner, I think I should be able to finish it by the end of the night. If I do finish this tonight, I don't know if I'm going to pick something else up until after Book-a-thon is over, but if I do, it is going to be The Hero of Ages, because I would like to get started on that. It is much smaller than The Well of Ascension was, I think, so hopefully it won't take me nearly as long to read that as The Well of Ascension did last month. But it wasn't that like I wasn't enjoying The Well of Ascension, I just was like in a really weird reading slumpy kind of mood, so it took me longer than it probably should have to read The Well of Ascension. But like I said, The Hero of Ages is much smaller, so it might be easier for me to fly through that one. So if I do pick anything else up, it'll probably be just at least getting started with The Hero of Ages, and then transitioning to specifically Book-a-thon books. And honestly, I might take it with me too, because if I have some downtime between roll drops, basically, I will probably read it. Like, I'm probably gonna read it while I'm at my parents' house tomorrow night. I'll probably read it during the day, but while I'm waiting for my friend to pick me up on Saturday and on the drive. And so I think that actually makes a lot more sense. I think I'll pick it up tomorrow if I can get to it, and at the very least take it with me on my weekend. So that's kind of the plan. But I'm gonna head out right now and get started with my break and read more of Sword of Destiny, and I'll check in with you guys when I've basically finished this up, whether it be tonight or tomorrow. My hair looks super poofy because I've just brushed it. Yeah, well, and I kind of had it in like a little bit of a bun for something just to wash my face this morning. But good morning. It is going on 9:45 in the morning on Friday. Happy Friday, everybody. I am dressed. I am face washed, teeth brushed, ready to go. My mom is going to be picking me up here around 4 o'clock. I am getting out of work early today, thankfully, because my coworker is able to stay the extra hour that I typically do to be there basically from 8 to 5. So thankfully, that's all taken care of, and that way I can get to my parents' house tonight for the bachelorette party tomorrow. Very excited. I'm also very excited to go home and see my parents because thankfully they are over COVID, which is the only reason I'm able to go over there. My mom has got my sister's bedding all washed so that I can sleep in her room tonight because she did contract COVID, and so like her bedding could possibly still have that stuff. But my mom is gonna get that has gotten that all cleaned up so that I don't have to worry about it. But reading updates. So I did make more progress in Sword of Destiny. I did read the entire second story, which I really am liking. This is kind of having almost like an underlying plot of sorts. Like it's not super clear, but the first story, which is Bounds of Reason, it's basically Geralt meeting up with Yennefer for the first time in search of this dragon. She's basically on the same search as well. And this is like 4 years after they last kind of were together, and there's a lot of animosity, and they basically end up kind of reconnecting. And then the second story, which is called Shard of Ice, they are in this town, and Yennefer is supposed to be meeting with another sorcerer, and they are going to have like information for where she needs to go next, basically. But it turns out that Yennefer has been sleeping around with this sorcerer as well, and kind of in a sense like causing issues. And apparently Yennefer is known for basically using her sexuality and using her body to get what she wants. And I don't know if that's necessarily supposed to be like the real connotation of what's going on, because we don't really hear Yennefer's side of things in terms of why she does this, but I don't seem to really like her in the sense that she's hurt Geralt, and I think Geralt deserves better. So basically though, what does end up happening is Geralt and the sorcerer decide that they're going to basically fight over Yennefer. Literally, they're going to actually have a brawl over her. But before that happens, Geralt kind of has like a moment of really sad like depression where like he gets himself beat up by these townspeople, and they're like, we're not going to assist you in your suicide. If you're going to do that, go like hang yourself in the stables kind of thing. And that gives him the gumption to go and stop this fight with the sorcerer. And then the sorcerer tells Geralt that Yennefer basically left him a note saying that she has run off, she's gone, no idea as to where she's going. And the sorcerer is also kind of in that spot where like, if I can't have her, you know, nobody can, but I'm also gonna make this as if like I'm gonna let you kill me as opposed to killing myself because it's more honorable in a sense. And Geralt basically tells him, I'm not going to do that. Same thing that the townspeople said to him, where I'm not going to assist you in your suicide. If you're going to do that, then you might as well go hang yourself in the stables kind of thing. It's kind of just a way of phrasing basically in this world. And Geralt then goes back to where he was staying and finds a note from Yennefer, pretty much along the same lines of what the sorcerer had, where she's run off and nobody knows where she is. I like that these two stories kind of had like a continuation of the story of Yennefer and Geralt, and that kind of was what was brought up within The Last Wish, was that all the stories were definitely snapshots of Geralt's life, but they all had kind of an underlying kind of idea going on, which in The Last Wish, it was basically Geralt kind of trying to avoid Yennefer, but kind of not. Like, he was also, in a sense, like, he wasn't trying to find her, but if he found her, like, that would be great. And there's a lot of it where he talks with Dandelion after meeting up with him for the first time in some time. And Geralt was also in Last Wish being helped by a priestess who was, you know, friends with him. They were helping him heal after going through this really rough battle. And she was really questioning a lot of the things about why he was going after Yennefer, why he was trying so hard to obtain her affection and all these things. And so there was kind of this underlying thing within all of the stories about him either telling the story of these different adventures he had, or it coming up basically in conversation kind of thing. This is kind of similar, except like it's not him telling somebody else's story. It's basically you're watching different parts of his life that involve different aspects that seem to tie together. Very excited to continue with this. Like I said, I'm getting ready to start the third story, Eternal Flame. I'm gonna take this with me on my weekend, but then I also made sure to grab Arcanum Unbounded so that I could read the short story for the 11th Metal, which I need to read anyway for Brandon Sanderson read along, but it is the first story I'm going to use when the basically ball drops with Book-a-thon. And I think that this weekend as well, I'm going to really try to reconfigure the TBR I had set for June, because I would like to be able to be a little bit more of a mood reader when it comes to June. I am debating currently whether or not I want to fully continue some of the series I've been doing, because I feel like I'm trying to do kind of too much at one time with so many series I'm doing with like Stephen King, my reread series, reading The Witcher, reading The Wheel of Time, the Brandon Sanderson read along, you know, like all of these things on top of the other stuff, like my Wheel of D20 stuff, which June I only have one book for, and that's fine. Like I can manage that this month, no problem. And then July, I'll have a free month if I can complete that one book in June. But then also, you know, any other kinds of series that I'm doing, like I feel like I'm doing way too much. So I am debating on holding back on some things unless I can get certain books to fit readathons that I want to do. In addition to Battle of the Bookish in June, I am doing Desertathon, which is being hosted by the Bookish Buddies. And then in July, I am going to partake in Summerween, the week-long readathon that goes on in about the middle of July, which is very exciting. I have a couple ideas for stuff I want to read for that. But like, I don't know exactly what I want to do. I would like to try to be a bit more of a mood reader though when it comes to June. So I think what I'm going to do is try to configure my TBR the best I can. But I feel like that a lot of it is going to be basically what do I feel like reading kind of thing. I've just kind of been feeling a little overwhelmed, especially with like the reading schedules that I set up, because like I have so many books I want to get through in a specific month. And it's fine to have those aspirations. It's fine to have those goals. But personally, I do feel like I'm doing too much and I don't have to. And I'm trying to be kinder to myself. And I feel like one of the ways that I can be kinder to myself is to maybe pull back a little bit on some of these things. Like, I would still like to participate in the Brandon Sanderson read-along regardless. Another book I did make sure to grab is The Hero of Ages for when I do finish this and can get started with The Hero of Ages. But like, my Wheel of Time series, my Witcher series, my reread series after I finish Supernova, because I would like to still maybe read Supernova this month. You know, the Stephen King reading series. I feel like those ones that I don't necessarily have like either a book club or a reading series that I'm doing with other people, I would like to be able to be a little more lax with. I feel like honestly what I'm gonna probably put to the wayside is like my reread series. After I get through this last book, Supernova, whether that's this month or in June, I don't know. But I think also my Wheel of Time series, I might put down The Witcher for a little while. Just, I think that that's going to be the best thing for me. And I think even my Stephen King reading series, because I don't really know what else to do. And like I said, if something can fit into a readathon that I'm going to be participating in, that's great. I'll put those in. But I think that in terms of my set TBR every single month, I'm gonna make it a little bit more lax just because I don't know if I'm gonna get to some of them. I don't know if I'm gonna, you know, really be able to do much. And then when Wheel of D20 comes back around in, you know, hopefully August, if I can have a free month in July, I would like to make sure too that like my TBR isn't too much for me personally. So that's kind of what I'm thinking about. I've been thinking about this for some time and trying to find out the best way that I can kind of give myself a little bit more grace and give myself more freedom to choose, as opposed to having a very set TBR all the time, because I usually operate under a set TBR. It's how I do things. I'm very particular typically of what I do. But I'm trying to find ways to be flexible. I'm trying to find ways to be kinder to myself and my mental health in a lot of ways. And I think that one of the worst ways I hurt myself is by forcing myself to read things that either I'm not super enjoying, or, you know, forcing myself to get on a reading schedule that's not in its best interest for me. Because, like, for instance, the Wheel of Time series, I struggled with reading The Fires of Heaven. It took me almost 2 weeks to read that, and I got so far behind on my reading schedule that I've been kind of not panicking, but kind of starting to panic in a sense. But I'm trying to, like, kick that in the ass and just really focus on what is it that I'm actually enjoying? What is it that I'm feeling like I need to take a break from? And I think that whole thought process I had while reading The Fires of Heaven was really important for me. And I think that that's a really big turning point in terms of my mental health. And I feel like that's a really good sign that I'm starting to finally be able to heal, and I'm starting to be able to find ways that I can make things better for myself without feeling like I'm also compromising the things I enjoy, because I do love reading. You guys know this. I've done this for so long. I've always been a huge reader. I've always been somebody who's enjoyed talking about books, but I think that I kind of have got caught up in this whole productivity culture and the culture that there is within BookTube of, you know, having read so many books in a month and being productive in that sense and putting out content all the time. It's just not conducive to my mental health, and it's not conducive to, I think, my entire being. It's not conducive to what I want to do with my life. I'd like to focus my time on other things while I'm still doing my reading, like taking care of Oscar and helping him grow up to be a good puppy, spending time with my husband, being able to spend time with family and friends, and, you know, just being able to feel like I can actually do more things as opposed to being so particular of when and how I read. And I just feel like that I needed to really showcase that to you guys and just let you guys know kind of what's going on, because there's a lot of things that are probably going to change, and that's okay. Like, change is a good thing, especially in this case. It's definitely something that's going to help me out a lot more. So all that to say, basically, that in June, I'm going to really do my best to not have as many books set on my TBR, and kind of just, if something fits a prompt, that's great, but also keeping in mind that I don't have to read all of the prompts for Desertathon. I don't have to read all of the prompts for Battle of the Bookish. You know, I can do a little bit here and there and still contribute to my team. Like, that's really all I need to do. There's no minimum requirement for these readathons. It's you do your best and see where you end up kind of thing. And I need to be kinder to myself about doing that, because I'm very much a try hard person. I'm very much a competitive person in that regard, with more so with myself. I'm competitive with myself than I am with other people. So it's important for me to kind of check that at the door and just do what I possibly can, because there's nobody else that's really kind of holding me to a standard. I am the only person holding myself to a standard. So for those of you that are also maybe struggling with that kind of stuff, I hope that this kind of brings some solace to know you're not really alone with any of that. And if you're really struggling with being able to prioritize things, you know, maybe step back from a few things. Step back from a few series you might not be enjoying currently. Step back from a few things that are a little bit too time-consuming for you. You know, just, I think it's important that we address this kind of an issue that there is within, you know, contemporary culture and in the BookTube, book talk, book Twitter world, where, you know, there's this standard in a sense that people kind of seem to put on themselves, where it's you have to read so much every single month, you have to read so much every single day, and that's just, it's not fun. That is what I think makes most people that are on BookTube kind of burn out so much easier. I think that's one of the easiest ways to burn yourself out, and I have been victim to that many times over the course of my BookTube life. I have definitely burned myself out so much with trying to match up my actual reading progress with the goals I set every month. And like I said, goals are great. Goals are very awesome things to have every single month, but you shouldn't hold yourself to those. If you're struggling, if you're not enjoying things, like, just because you set a goal doesn't mean you always have to meet it. And if you have a time where you're not meeting goals at all, that is okay, because there could be other things going on environmentally within your life. There could be things going on personally that, you know, are contributing to your issues with reading all the time. And all of that is fine. All of that is valid. Other than that, I'm going to head out for right now, and I will talk to all of you guys hopefully before the end of my work day, because I want to update you guys one last time before I end the vlog and start my Book-a-thon vlog, because basically this entire weekend is going to be dedicated to Book-a-thon specifically. So this vlog is going to end today, but I'll hold off until later to give you guys an update on where I get with Sorted Destiny. Okay guys, so it's 4:15. My mom has just arrived, so I'm getting ready to go here very soon. I do have to wait for Robert to get here though, so I can get the drinks that I need to take with me. But basically, this is gonna be the end for this vlog because I'm gonna be gone. And then, like I said, I will be doing my Book-a-thon vlog starting later tonight. But that's gonna be it for this vlog. Hope you guys liked it, and I will see all of you guys in my Book-a-thon vlog. Bye.